Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is more just kind of like me updating you guys on life the past few weeks. So yeah, I don't know. Recently I've been good. There have been so many good things that have happened and fun things that have happened. Friends came in town that I got to see, new things happened. My best friend got engaged just 2 days ago, and the day before I did makeup for a wedding. Church has been wonderful. It's just, we're starting a new series and it's so amazing. I'll put the link to our YouTube channel for the church down below because the messages are incredible. But in the midst of all of this good, I've also had just like so much chaos, I would say, going on, and it's just resulted in mental exhaustion. And so it's just been a little bit more difficult of a semester than I intended for it to be. If you didn't know, I am a senior in college at UCF studying clinical psychology, and this is my first semester for my senior year. And last semester, it was wonderful. It was my favorite classes I think I've ever taken before, besides one. But I took 5 classes last semester and I was busy, but that's whenever I started my YouTube channel, and it was just like a great time of growth and feeling good and slowly becoming more and more healed from my physical illnesses. And summer was crazy busy, but also wonderful because so many things happened and God moved in so many different ways. And then this semester starts and good things continue to happen, but it has literally just been like insane. Like the classes I'm taking, a lot of them are core classes that you have, if you're a clinical psych major, you can take any semester of your entire time that you're there. Like you can take it in your sophomore semester if you wanted to. But I'm taking 4 classes this semester, not even 5 like last semester. And bruh, some of them have proved to be much more difficult than I thought they would be, but in different ways. Like not difficult in like having to memorize or it's a lot of information or whatever, because I've had a lot of classes like that last year where I understood it, but it was just so much to memorize and apply that's whatever I had to study and work for and move towards. This semester, it's more just like the concepts themselves. I'm like, so I'm in statistical methods of psychology right now, and it is a required course, and it is, I took stats whenever I was a junior in high school, but like when I dual enrolled at Seminole State College, and I got a 100 in the class. Like I finished with an A, which is kind of insane. So when I signed up for this class, I thought it'd be no different because it's not that much math, but I guess statistical methods of psychology is a little bit more difficult than normal stats. And so I don't know, it's just been crazy. And so I had to take, last week was insane. I took 4 exams in 1 week. Like all my classes had exams in the same week, and 2 of them were open book and 1 of them was 3 hours. It was like a 3-hour test, and I spent almost all 3 hours taking it. But both of the open book ones, I literally got high 70s on. I made a C. And I know they're like C's get degrees or whatever, but it wasn't like the grade that I was super disappointed on. It was the fact that I made C's because I so badly did not understand the concepts that I didn't know how to answer questions. Like that's what bothered me, and it's just going to get increasingly harder. Like if you don't understand it now, it's going to be applied, those base things are going to be applied throughout the rest of the course of the semester. And I was like, I don't understand any of this. Like this is so, why is this so difficult? So today was kind of difficult. It was a hard day. I had my 4-hour lecture, and by the end of it, I literally just almost started crying in class, but I didn't. But whenever I got in the car, I started to like do a mental autopsy of just asking myself like why, like really check my feelings and check where I am and look at it with logic of like, why am I feeling this way? And this made me feel this way because why? And then kind of go on from there so then I can healthily process it. And in the midst of that and praying in my car, I just was like, found myself bawling, crying on the way home. And it was just like, dude, I don't know. it's the last 4 weeks I've cried at least twice a week, which is kind of abnormal for me because they were all very stress-induced times of me just crying because I felt so overwhelmed, and I thought this week would get better, but it's already Tuesday and it's not better, and I'm just having a difficult time. Because on top of this, I have had students, which I love doing students, and there's just some extra work that goes on behind the scenes for that. That's not just once a week. And then I have worship team, which is also like a twice a week commitment, and then that is normal. It's like that's expected, but that added on with a bunch of other things that have happened this week of just like extra events or weddings that I'm supposed to do or people coming into town, and they were all wonderful things, but they've happened so quickly back to back that I have had no time to catch up on homework, and I feel like I'm cramming everything, which does not help me understand the classes that I'm struggling to understand in whenever I'm trying to cram the homework in, but I just haven't had the time or figured out how to make the time. So I'm just really working through a time of just like praying for wisdom in time management, because God knows everything that I'm supposed to get done and everything that I need to get done in the timeline, and just asking him like, what do I do right now? And if I'm supposed to do this, please give me the energy to do this, because I'm so exhausted mentally and physically and sometimes even spiritually of just like I'm at my wit's end. So it's been a great time of growth and like really seeking God in the midst of this, but it's also just been very draining and very stressful because I just want to I don't want to just C's get degrees, they say, but at the same time it's not that I'm just trying to pass. Like, I want to do well in the courses that I'm in. I want to do well in the ministries that I am volunteering in. I want to do well with the relationships that I'm in and that I'm forming with people. Like, I want to serve those people well, serve Christ well, serve this education well, and do the work necessary in order to do it well. And that's always been my intention, and for my entire college experience, it hasn't been that difficult, mainly because the first 2.5-ish years I was so sick. I didn't take that many classes and I didn't have as many commitments because I could barely walk around most of the time. But as I'm slowly being healed, I am thankfully being given a lot more responsibility. Like, God has opened up so many doors for me that he knows that I now can physically handle because I'm less physically weak. Like, I'm able to actually support those things now in both a spiritual sense and a physical sense, which is so cool, and I'm so thankful for that. And I want to grow in that because I feel like I missed out on a lot of that whenever I was in high school and my early years of college. But sometimes it's not so much like adulting, it's really just learning time management, but also still knowing my boundaries, knowing that I'm not fully healed on a physical level yet, that I still have to get more rest than the average person and rest my feet more than an average person would think that they should, and watch myself and know my limits, because once I start to go downhill, my body doesn't respond as well as other people's does. And so it's just keeping that in mind and knowing how to walk in the faithfulness of God and know that he's given me all the strength to do those things, but also not push past my limits unwisely. Like, I still want to walk in wisdom of, okay, God, what are my limits right now? I know spiritually possibilities are endless. You have given me everything available to complete what you have set before me, but I know that there's a way for me to do it healthily. What does that look like? Because I feel like I'm not doing it right now, and I want to serve you well. As you're slowly, gradually putting me into this world, after being so secluded so long from having the ability to function as a normal human, as he's putting me in this, I'm like, okay, this is cool and exciting and I'm more autonomous, but if I'm going to do this, I don't want to mess up. I want to do this well. I don't want to form bad habits that will follow me into later adulthood. I don't want to form bad coping mechanisms or time management skills or things that I will have to unlearn later. And so I give myself grace, but it's still the stressful part, which it shouldn't be, is searching for that wisdom of like, okay, God, like, tell me what to do, because I have no idea. So yeah, that's just been me recently. I've loved being able to do everything that I'm doing. I've loved being able to devote time to cultivate this YouTube channel and everything that God's going to do with it, which I have no idea yet. But that has just been so wonderful, but it's just been very overwhelming recently for me in general. And there's been a lot of tears, and thankfully I have really great family and relational support from those around me and at the church and in my own house. But there are times where you're like, I just want to cry, and I don't know why, but it'll make me feel better, which to an extent it does, but I can't just let that always be my fallback. That's not always healthy. So I'm just hopping on here to update you guys. You know, like, I know I sometimes seem like I'm doing great and I'm accomplishing all of these things, doing a YouTube channel and a full-time student and a high school student mentor and working on the worship team and all this stuff and doing weddings on the weekends sometimes. And it's so cool that I even get to say that I can do that, because 2 years ago I would think that was medically impossible. But don't think that I'm not, you know, struggling in similar ways that you are. I feel like sometimes we can just see people as like what we see and rarely ever take the time to account for thinking about what may be going on behind the scenes. We just kind of make assumptions or take it at face value and say, great, looks like they're doing great, so they must be great, and they're just great. When in reality, like, you may have no idea what's going on. And so it just kind of goes back to that phrase that I talked about in my video a few weeks ago, where it's just like, you have no idea. I like to apply that to people that I look at and talk to and see of just what I'm getting right now is just a small snapshot of their life. And they may be updating me, but I can never be accurate at guessing their thoughts, guessing everything that's going on in relationships around them, guessing what's going on at work or at home. And so I can never just assume and almost not get in a comparison game, but of just like, well, how are they still functioning and getting all of this done when I'm trying to do less than that, and I feel like I'm barely keeping my head above water. I feel like God has just given us all different levels. We're all at different stages of life, so we can't compare or judge or say they're doing this or they're doing that. Instead, it's just learning to seek God for wisdom, because only He knows what you're supposed to do, what you need to do, when you need to do it, and how you need to do it, because He's the one that created your story. You can't try to copy it from taking a look at another person and saying, okay, well, this is how they did that, so that must mean that's how I'm supposed to do that, you know? If we have enough time to consult that and think about that, and we have enough time to consult the Lord and ask Him, which He's proven Himself to be much more insightful in that area. So it's just one of those things where I just wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys about what's going on. I'm still happy. I'm still having a good time. Butter's asleep on my feet right now. I love everything that's going on in my life, and I'm so thankful for the ability to have an education for this calling of being in clinical psychology and whatever God's going to do with that. There's the calling for working with high school girls, because that gives me so much life. Like, sometimes I think maybe I should just not do students or not do worship team or not do this. But I've realized that, like, if I feel called to that, then it means that God knows exactly how I'm supposed to still honor that commitment and be obedient to serving Him in the church and still get everything done that I need to get done. And furthermore, if I choose to honor that commitment and be obedient and say, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to have time to get any of this stuff done, but I'm going to serve you instead. I'm still going to show up to church. I'm still going to show up to life group. I'm still going to serve in this area. I think God has proven Himself more than capable and more than faithful to allow us to expand our time, to expand our days, to give us the ability to get everything done that we need to, because He is honoring our obedience for that commitment in that area, honoring our obedience to serve the church and serve Him and build up the church body of Christ as a whole instead of just focusing on ourselves and saying, well, I have to get this done, which means I just can't go. Sometimes there is wisdom in knowing you can't spread yourself too thin, but I feel like a lot of people also go on the other extreme and say, well, I don't have time for any of that because I have this and this and this, so like God can't fit into my schedule. I can pray for 5 minutes, but serving him, that's like not a thing for me, sorry. I feel like God has proven himself, more than capable of allowing us to be able to get done everything that we need to get done in this world at this schedule while still honoring him in serving him and doing what God has called us to do as a church and as Christians. So that was a tangent. Did not plan on going into that, but here we are. So yeah, if you can't tell, I've been talking a lot this weekend, so my voice is kind of tired. It's just been a lot of stuff going on, but I'm so grateful for everything that's going on, but I wanted to update you guys on how everything is going. I'm just praying for extreme wisdom and sensitivity to the Holy Spirit to be able to know whenever he is leading me to make a certain decision or shift my timeline to such and such so that I can get other things done. I just want, he's going to give me wisdom, I know he will, but I just want to be sensitive enough to his voice to hear it. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta cry in your car and pray and then eat some chicken and move on with your life, or at least that's what I did today. But yep, that's what's going down. That's Rihanna's life update. Hope y'all liked it. If you want me to do more of these life updates, if you like hearing kind of what's going on in my life, comment below and let me know, because I will make these periodically of like little check-ins with you guys if you want to, instead of just normal regularly scheduled content. So thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. I just pray that you all are all doing well, and if you aren't, that you just find hope in the fact that God has you and he knows what he's doing with you, and he has a way for you to get everything done that he's put before you. If we are just sensitive enough to hear his voice and listen to his leading, he's just really nice like that. So I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week for my next video. So peace out.